So today I want to talk to you about reseller mistakes. As a full-time reseller for several years and a part-time seller for several years before that, I have made a lot of mistakes that have cost me a lot of time and a lot of money. So hopefully this video today can help you avoid wasting your time and money. Hi, my name is Eileen. I'm an entrepreneur, a former full-time reseller, and now I am what I call a digital entrepreneur. I make all of my income online while my family and I travel across the United States in a travel trailer. But what really made this possible for us was reselling, because reselling was the business that I was able to grow as a stay-at-home mom to the point where my husband was able to quit his job and stay home with me and lead us to where we are today. Here on my channel, I talk all about entrepreneurship, making money from home, and my goal is to inspire others and make it well known that anybody can make an income from home. Whether you want to do it part-time or full-time, that's up to you, but anybody can make an income from home with a side hustle or some sort of online business. So I'm just going to jump in and reveal all my mistakes. So my number one mistake, and something that I'm still kind of guilty of today, is buying something just because it's cheap. It's so tempting, especially with places like the bins, which is also known as the Goodwill outlet, where you can get things for really cheap because you're buying things by the pound. It's so tempting to just buy things because they're cheap, and that is not a good business model. Just because you get something cheap does not mean you're going to be able to make a profit on it. Just because you get something for 1 cent or even for free doesn't mean it's worth your time to sell. So this is something that is a really important lesson to learn. And I think a lot of us resellers are guilty of it, because when you first start out, and even as you become more of a veteran reseller, it's tempting when you find something for cheap, especially if you find something brand new or a lot of something for cheap. It can be tempting to be like, oh, I'll give this a try. We'll see if it'll sell. And a lot of times it doesn't. Sometimes it does, but a lot of times it doesn't. So don't buy something just because it's cheap. Something that goes along with that is buying something because it's cute. I am guilty of this, and I probably still will do this in the future because it just happens. But when you find something that you personally like, it can be tempting to pick it up and try to resell it. But there may or may not be a market for it, or it might be something that's hard to find the right audience to sell to. So buying something just because it's cute is not necessarily a good idea if you can't find the research, or if you're not able to do the research to back up purchasing that item and spending your time and money on that item. Even when you buy something for cheap or because it's cute, you're still spending your time and your money on that product. And if it doesn't sell because it was a bad buy, it is a waste of time and money. Another mistake I made was watching haul videos. So I think a lot of us do this, and you probably, or maybe you do this as well if you're a reseller. Watching haul videos is fun. You want to see what other resellers have purchased at the thrift store, or doing retail arbitrage, or even online liquidation. It can be tempting to see what other people are buying so that you know to look out for that stuff as well. But just because someone else is buying it doesn't necessarily mean that you should buy it. Unless you know that person's business model, you know their expenses, you know what they're able to sell, you know what their clientele is like. You don't know their business, and you don't know if those things will sell for you. So while watching haul videos is super fun, and a lot of us like to do it while we're doing our work or to do some research, it's okay to watch them and take note, but don't necessarily watch them and think that the things that another reseller is buying is the stuff that you should be buying for your business. The next mistake is not being strategic, just kind of doing my thing, buying some things, listing some things, throwing stuff in piles, having bags of stuff around my office that I will eventually list. These are things that cost me a lot of time and money. There was a lot of stuff that went unlisted. There are things that I purchased that would have sold for a good amount, but because I waited a month or two, the value of that item dropped and it was no longer worth buying. So just being strategic is a really good tip. Having a plan and a strategy in place for your business is really important. I know when you're first starting out, you're like, I'm just going to make a little bit of money here and there. And that's totally fine if you want to test it out that way. But if you're going to make this into a business and something that you're spending your money and your time on, you really need to be strategic. This is a big one for me, and that is avoiding listing or not listing consistently. For probably the first couple of years, I basically avoided listing. I wanted to shop, and I wanted to come home and have that item just magically be listed, and that's not how it works. So I would avoid listing, And what eventually got me over this hump was just to be like, I have to list. Like, there's no way I'm gonna make money if I don't list. And I just did it. I set myself up to list 5 or 10 things a day on a regular basis until I just got used to it and it just became a boring job. As much as I love reselling, there are parts of it that are boring, and it is part of your business to do those boring things, and that's okay. If you don't like listing, that's totally fine. But you're not going to sell an item that's not listed. So make sure that you're buying items that you are excited to list or that you're actually going to do the work and list. One thing I see a lot is resellers that don't have an inventory system. I didn't have one at the very beginning, but I did get mine going pretty early on because I knew myself and I knew how scatterbrained I was and how hard it was for me to find things when things sold. And then there were the times that something sold and I couldn't find it. So these were clear indicators for me that I needed to create an inventory system. And I actually do have a video about our inventory system that I will link to. So you can see how we store our eBay inventory, or how we used to store our eBay inventory before we went on the road. It's a really great system. We had over 800 items in the system at one point, actually probably closer to 1,000, and it worked really well for us, and it was easy to find things, put things away when we were done listing, find things when stuff sold, and we had a lot less mistakes where we couldn't find items once they were sold. And the last thing I want to talk about is buying stuff that needed work. I'm sure you've done it before if you've been reselling for some time, but you find something that is valuable and you want to buy it, and you're going to fix it up, you're going to clean it up, you're going to sew the holes or treat the stains, and you don't. I know myself well enough to know at this point that I'm not going to put a lot of work into anything unless it's worth a lot of money. So unless I can sell it for over $100, if I have to do anything but like quickly wipe it down or throw it in the washing machine, I'm not going to buy it. I know that I will put it in a pile and it will never get touched and I will never do anything with it. So just know yourself and don't buy anything that you know you're not going to put the work into to get it to where it needs to be to list and sell. So there you have it. I thought it would be fun to tell you all of my reselling mistakes, and I hope you found this video valuable and helpful so that you can hopefully avoid wasting your time and money making the same mistakes that I did. If you like this video and you found it helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more videos on reselling, entrepreneurship, and making money from home. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.